Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Admiral Galinas, in a March 2021 Congressional Budget Office report, the CBO compares the class maintenance plan expectation of days in the shipyard and days of labor to the scheduled and actual amounts for the extended dry docking selected restricted availability, or EDSRA, of the first 5 Virginia class submarines. And on page 12 of the report, shows that the class maintenance plan for the EDSRA should have been 450 days and 203,000 labor days. However, the scheduled days for 4 of these 5 availabilities far exceeds the class plan. And furthermore, the actual days it took to complete these availabilities exceeds the class plan by an average of nearly 70% across the 5 availabilities, which resulted in a loss of 1,552 days of operational time. And over the 9-year period when these availabilities occurred, so the first 5 Virginia-class submarines, the Navy lost 4.25 years of operational availability of those submarines. Then in May of 2019, the Navy changed the Virginia-class maintenance plan to increase the duration of the EDSRA from 450 to 590 days, which was a 31% increase, even though historically at that point, these EDSRAs have been taking about 760 days. Additionally, the Virginia-class submarine, its design was expected to have 22% fewer days of labor on average than the Los Angeles class, yet the data described in the CBO report shows that the actual labor days were 43% higher. I was curious, what organization developed the Virginia-class maintenance plan?
Yeah, so, ma'am, thanks. That's a great question, and I'll tell you, it's something that we've had a lot of discussion on within our team here, because it's, you spoke specifically very eloquently about the Virginia class submarines but we're seeing, similar trends on the 688s where we're doing a lot more work.
Yeah, so Admiral, I hate to cut you off, but I have limited time on my question. I just wanted to get through a few separate parts of it.
Yeah, so it's our submarine maintenance and engineering team that does that. They're located up at Portsmouth, New Hampshire shipyard.
Okay, and so why would you assess that the class maintenance plan was so far off from the actual time and man days it took to do the maintenance when it was actually executed?
At a very high level, what we're seeing is, replacements and system repair work that's required inside of the planned service life of that particular component or system, and then we couple that with some challenges, material challenges in getting parts and whatnot for the submarine. So it's really systems not lasting to their service life, and then spare parts.
Okay, so Admiral, when I look at this kind of data, what it says to me is that the Navy hasn't accurately estimated the maintenance requirements. And it's one of the many reasons that I think that the Navy has a credibility problem when you come to us. You combine that with grossly underestimated cost estimates for new construction and timelines for project completion. I think misplaced faith in new technologies that aren't fully developed, and then an inability to deliver promised capabilities. I wanted to shift to a statement you made about submarines in your remarks. So you said that Portsmouth Naval Shipyard undocked the USS California SSN 781 ahead of schedule and completed its follow-on steaming program milestones 5 days early. Is this the same way of saying the availability finished early, or is this mean something else?
No, ma'am. So to be specific on that, last June we reset for all availabilities that were in execution. We reset the completion dates because of the pandemic. On California specifically, and this is through targeted use of overtime, the use of the reserve, the surge main force that we have, and just really the work by the shipyard, we were able to actually beat the schedule that we set for ourselves last June. So, that early undocking and the early delivery was really to the reprogrammed schedule.
Okay, I understand the impacts of COVID. So with my colleagues, we've been discussing the size of the fleet that we need in the future. And if the assumptions that we use in the analysis and making those decisions, such as the time required in maintenance, or not correct, then the size of the fleet that we determine we need can also not be correct. And as we start to build the new Columbia class and the Constellation class, I hope that the Navy has plans in place to be able to better estimate the maintenance requirements for these new classes.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, that is one of the efforts that we're working on right now. Is there is I'll say, a new avail duration model for the public sector availabilities that we're doing. We just finished that work last month. I talked last time about the 15-year public sector maintenance plan. That model, that availability duration model, is foundational to that plan. We're just coming through some final testing and validation of that model, but I think that will give us a much better and a more accurate picture of the duration of these availabilities.
Well, thank you, Admiral. I look forward to learning more about that. And I know my time has expired, but I just wanted to highlight that what I see in this data is that maintenance delays are significantly impacting the operational availability of our ships and submarines. And like many have said today, the investments in the public and private shipyards and in that workforce actually increase the effective size of the fleet. So the investment in this infrastructure is needed today and not 20 years from now. So thank you, and I yield back.